Welcome back to today's video, guys. We're going to talk about, was buying a house in Thailand a bad idea or a mistake? I bought with my wife about 2.5 years ago now. It cost 2.4 million baht. I'll put the dollars on the screen. So as you can see, it wasn't a massive investment. We have actually got a mortgage on this house. Was it a mistake buying this house? What do you think? Let's just take a look at the house. This house is in Samut Songkram. It's like a double parking as you come in. There's a garden area. It's quite a small property. I think it's about 70 square wa. And there's 2 bedrooms, there's a living area, there's a kitchen. Have a look now on the video. Just take you around and have a look at the house. It's a nice little property. I've got a couple of kids, so this kind of is ideal for us at the moment. And my wife is working in this area too, so it suits us down to the ground in that way. Originally moved to Samut Songkram. We had a bit of a problem trying to find rented accommodation. We couldn't really find anything half decent. There was some rented accommodation available, but they were pretty horrific, to be honest. I didn't really want to live on Songkram. We tried to rent a house, but it was quite difficult because we got 2 dogs, and the houses we looked at were very, very poor quality, as in you didn't really want to live there with 2 kids. They were pretty diabolical. It was only very, very low kind of living condition houses here to rent. It was quite hard to find anything half decent. So there's nothing slightly western or anything, or even like new builds like this. There were there weren't really any that accepted dogs as well that you could rent. So we were kind of in a bit of a predicament. My wife kind of got promotion, then moved here, and then we're like, shit, we need to find something, So we ended up just buying instead because it was just easier with our dog. So yeah, we bought this property. We have been generally happy with the property around here. It's a nice area. We're about 10 minutes from Samut Songkram town centre. We're about 10 minutes from my wife's work, so quite easy that way. It's quite a rural area. Around the area there is lots of shrimp farms and salt farms around this area. There's a lot of monitor lizards about, but they don't come into the complex here, but there are a lot around the roads, and obviously a lot of snakes. We are in nature out here, so that might not be for some people, but in this complex there's nothing. So there's no soy dogs that come in this complex here. There's no snakes, or I'm not seeing anything inside the complex here. So but outside, yeah, obviously it's quite naturey, so there is a lot of wildlife around, which is nice. And out the back there's lots of birds and stuff you can check out. Not that kind of bird, but the flying variety. So yeah, it is a nice area. I'm pretty happy with it. Is it peaceful in the estate here? There's a little bit of noise, but that's general for the countryside. You do get the odd noisy neighbours a little bit. We've got kids that stay next door, but we've got kids ourselves, so we make a bit of noise as well. So it kind of doesn't really bother me, to be honest with you, that, but it might bother some people. Are we going to stay in Samut Songkram? Probably not. We'll probably stay here for another year or 2, depending on my wife's work. Everything's kind of related to her job. At the moment, her job is here. If we do end up moving on, we'll either sell or we'll rent out, like we did with some of our other properties we bought in Bangkok. Obviously, here might be slightly more difficult to rent out than it would be in Bangkok, but we'll still probably do the same. If not, we'll probably just cut our losses and just sell for the same prices we brought it for, if prices have not gone up around this area. Land prices around here are quite pricey, actually, in some locations around here. Depends how rural you go, but the further away from basically the main town, the prices do go down a lot. So yeah, we're pretty close to the main road here, so it is quite a good location for getting onto the main Rama 2 road, which goes back into Bangkok. And we are 1 hour dead from Ceylon, so I can drive to Ceylon in 1 hour. At certain times of day, obviously in rush hour it might be an hour and a half, but at certain times of day I can get to Ceylon. No, I'm joking. I can get to Ceylon within 1 hour, and I can get to Hua Hin within an hour and a half. So we are kind of bang halfway in between the kind of 2 places, so it is easy to get back to Bangkok. So that is one good thing I think about the property. I don't really regret buying this property. I mean, I think it would have been better if we could have rented for a year or 2 before we bought, maybe. when we first moved here. But we were in a bit of a predicament. We were like, we couldn't really find anything. We didn't want to live in an absolute dive, to be honest. And that's all that was available around here. There just isn't that many rental properties around here. It's very, very limited that accepted dogs as well. It was pretty much hardly non-existent. It was ridiculous. So yeah, we were in a bit of a predicament like that, and we didn't want to stay in a condo. We could have stayed in a condo, but we've got 2 kids and 2 dogs. I mean, it's not really going to work very well in any kind of condo, really. Now, should you buy a house in Thailand or should you buy a condo? I mean, for me personally, it's a good thing to do. I think, I've got a family here, a wife here with a stable job. I've got 2 kids here, 2 dogs. I've got kind of a whole family setup. So we kind of need a house in Thailand to live in. The vast majority of people coming to Thailand, for a year or 2 or coming to retire, and they don't really know Thailand, and I don't think it is a good idea. You probably should rent, when you first come to Thailand. And then if you're very, very settled here, you meet a lovely lady here and you get married to her and you really think this is the one. And, then maybe, you get a property together. That's a cool thing to do. And it's very easy if you've got a Thai wife to get a property out in Thailand. Now, you can buy condos on your own in Thailand, which is a bit easier, so you could opt to get in a condo. If there's just a couple of you, even me and my wife, it was just me and her, I would probably buy a condo instead. And if you buy a house in England, and you get married and have kids, I mean, the chances if you get divorced of losing the house is pretty bloody high, to be honest with you. So, and think how much money you would spend in England or America on a house. I mean, just example, like my brother's house was about £200,000. I don't know what that is, 10 million baht, something like that, where this house is 2.4 million baht. So, you're going to lose a lot less money. And like this house, we have a mortgage on. We've not even paid, a lot of it we're not paid yet. We're just paying per month. If you're thinking about buying a property with your missus, which a lot of guys do, I think, when they come out to Thailand, just think very, very carefully, and try and think about if you're going to, if you move on after a few years, do you want to rent it out? And if you do, pick a good area for renting out. I hope this helps you out, guys. If you're thinking about buying a property in Thailand with your Thai wife or a condo in Thailand by yourself, it can be a quite good thing to do if this is what you want to do. A lot of people like to have their own place where they can call home, but you've got to remember that cheap rent generally in Thailand can be very cheap, in certain locations. It can be very expensive too. So you don't just think it's cheap everywhere, but a lot of locations, as long as you can adapt to the location and you don't mind living out a little bit, then you can save yourself a lot of money in rent. But unfortunately, some properties, are very expensive because they're beachfront or they're in a very good location that everyone wants, like around Bangkok, certain areas around Bangkok and the outskirts of Bangkok. Just depends which road you're close to. MRT, are you close to? Are you close to the BTS? Are you close to the road that goes out of Bangkok? Getting on that road is quite essential, to get to other places. So you've got to think about this when you're buying property, or, if you're living in a condo or buying a condo over here. I hope this helps you out, guys, if you're thinking about coming to Thailand. And I'll see you next time on the next video.